Alright, we back. Goku and Marvel Season 2, Episode 5. Goku meets Squirrelgirl in this episode. And y'all go show some love to my last video, man, the Deadpool versus Hit story. Alright, I put a lot of effort in that dialogue, man, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, let's get to the video. The thin, cold air of the Himalayas whistled around Goku and Elektra as they trudged down the mountain path. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the crunch of snow underfoot. It was Elektra who finally cut through it, her voice as sharp as the size that she carried. "You vanished for years, Dimitri," she stated. Not a question, but an accusation. "The hand wrote you off as another asset that was lost to the wild. I thought the son of Craven had finally been put down." A wide, familiar grin split Goku's face. "Sounds like you were looking for me," he teased, his tail giving a playful flick. "Don't flatter yourself," Elektra retorted, though a slight, almost imperceptible softening around her eyes betrayed her. "I invested time in you. I don't dislike wasted investments. So talk. Where did you go?" Goku's energy became buoyant, almost childlike, as he launched into his story. It was the Demon King, this green guy named Piccolo. He showed up in his hidden city, Kunlun, and he was super strong. We had this huge fight, and I beat him. And that's actually how I got the new name, Goku. But then the city, I got stuck because it only connects to Earth every 11 years, and I was trapped there. He animatedly described his training, mastering of the flow of chi, learning to channel it into a devastating wave of energy he called the Kamehameha. He told her of refining his combat forms with the city's ancient masters and enchanting his vibranium power pole with mystic energy. And Elektra listened, her expression unreadable, as he finished, recounting his escape through a golden portal and his training with the Sorcerer Supreme. She gave a slow, approving nod. "A Demon King, a hidden city, and a wizard that helped you escape. You've been busy. To go from a feral assassin to a hidden city legend who commands mystical energies." She paused, a rare note of genuine respect in her voice. "Your progression is impressive." Goku beamed under the praise, but it was short-lived. Elektra closed the distance between them in a single fluid step. Her voice dropped, losing its professional edge and becoming low, personal, and firm. "These mystics and kings may call you Goku, but to me," she said, her dark eyes locking with his, "you will always be Dimitri, the hunter I found in Madripoor Alley. So never forget that." The air before them shimmered and twisted, resolving to a stable, shimmering portal. Without a word, Goku, with a grimacing Elektra leaned heavily on his shoulder, stepped through from the cold Himalayan air into the warm, dusty silence of the Sanctum Sanctorum. Doctor Strange, who had been observing the portal's formation with a raised eyebrow, now looked at the battered pair. Goku's new robes were scorched from hellfire, and Elektra was pale, clutching a wound on her arm where the Ghostrider's chain had seared not just her flesh, but something deeper. "Hey, Doc," Goku said, his usual boisterous tone subdued by fatigue and concern. His gaze flickered from Strange's stern face to the woman beside him. "Mind if we, camp here for a bit? We kind of wore out our welcome elsewhere." Stephen Strange sighed, the sound echoing slightly in the vast foyer. He had seen many things cross his threshold, but the son of Craven and the premier assassin of the hand made for a uniquely troublesome pair that he was not ready for. "The Sanctum is not a hostile, Goku," he stated, though his eyes were already assessing Elektra's condition with the sorcerer's insight. After a moment's pause, he gave a curt nod. "Very well, but try not to touch anything dangerous." "Thanks. I knew I could always trust my teachers," Goku chirped, his energy returning in a flash. He carefully maneuvered Elektra for a large, ornate couch, helping her lie down. "Rest here, hit woman. I'll be right back." Her only response was a sharp, defiant glare, but she lacked the strength to protest any further. Once she was settled, Goku bounded back over to where Strange stood, observing a floating orb of light. The Sorcerer Supreme didn't turn, already sensing a question forming in the young Saiyan hunter's mind. "Out with it," Strange said. Goku scratched his head, his tail twitching with restless energy. "So I fought this man with a burning skull for a head, and his fire felt different. It didn't just burn. It felt like it was trying to torch my soul or something. Your magic shields held it off, but is there a way to hit back against something like that? And are you familiar with individuals like this?" Doctor Strange's hand, which had been calmly tracing the rim of a floating astral chart, froze. The chart's delicate light patterns stuttered and died. He turned slowly, his cape whispering against the floor as his full attention landed on him. The usual aura of academic detachment was gone, replaced by a piercing, focused intensity. A man with a burning skull for a head? Strange repeated, his voice low, and his fire felt like it was attacking your soul itself. He took a single deliberate step closer, his gaze searching his students' faces as if looking for scorch mark on Goku's very spirit. You're describing a spirit of vengeance, a ghostwriter. Goku, you didn't just brawl the strong opponent. You confirmed a cosmic force of punishment. A slow, impressed smile touched his lips, though his eyes remained serious. To face a rider and not only survive, but win. I taught you the shields, but holding them against Hellfire's corrosive judgment requires a will I wasn't sure you possessed. It seems your training was more effective than I even anticipated. He gestured for Goku to follow him to a large enchanted tome that floated down from a high shelf. This is not a foe only simple punches can put into submission. You need to understand what you've tangled with. Strange opened the tome, its pages glowing with eldritch script and moving illustrations of flaming skeletons. A ghostwriter is a demon of sorts, like Zarathos bound to a human host. He explained, his finger tracing a depiction of the mystical binding. The host provides the conscience, the demon provides the power. The hellfire that burns the soul, and the penance stare that makes a victim feel every ounce of pain they've ever inflicted. He looked at Goku pointedly. Your chi, your life force energy, acted as a natural insulator, but your real victory was your tactical use of your astral displacement technique. You didn't try to overpower the demon, you targeted the bond itself. That was insightful. He closed the tome with a definite thud. However, do not mistake this for a permanent solution. You have possibly made an enemy of the spirit of vengeance, and vengeance has a long memory. Goku watched as Doctor Strange knelt beside the couch where Elektra lay, the Sorcerer Supreme's hands, once celebrated in operating rooms across the world, now glowed with a soft golden energy as they hovered over the wound left by Ghost Rider's chain. The hellfire of a spirit of vengeance does not merely burn the flesh, Strange stated, his voice clinical, yet carrying the weight of the mystical. It sears the very essence of a person. A normal medical procedure would be useless in this instance. His magical energy pulsed, and the angry supernatural inflammation around the energy began to recede. The flesh knitting together not just physically, but spiritually. Goku observed it fascinated as the pain etched on Elektra's face gradually smoothed into the calm mask of relaxing. Once finished, Strange turned his attention to Goku. Your intervention was tactically sound, but confronting a cosmic force is not a feat without cost, he said, his gaze seeming to look through Goku to assess his spiritual state. Hellfire's resonance lingers in the aura of those who face it. You feel fine, no doubt. Your unique biology and chi training create that illusion, but your spirit needs time to recalibrate from such an encounter. He placed a firm hand on Goku's shoulder. Pushing yourself now would be like training on a fractured limb. The damage may not be visible, but it is real, and it will compromise you when you need your full strength most. A loud, uninhibited laugh erupted from Goku. Shattering the sanctum solemn atmosphere, he brushed a hand dismissively through his spiky hair, his tail giving a confident flick that sent a small enchanted orb on a nearby table rolling away. Recalibrate? Doc, you worry too much, Goku said, his grin wide and carefree. He patted his stomach firmly. The best medicine for anything is a full belly after a good fight. My spirit doesn't need rest. It needs venison. Before Strange could form a rebuttal, Goku was already striding toward the main door, his movements full of purpose. He paused at the grand doorway, looking back at the Sorcerer Supreme. You fixed up my partner and gave us a place to crash. A hunter pays his debts. I'm going to go get us dinner. It's the least I can do for your for your help. Strange opened his mouth. Goku, wait. But it was too late. Goku's eager footsteps walked through the doorway that led to a New York portal, and he vanished into the hum of New York traffic. Stephen Strange let out a long, weary sigh. He seemed to reserve specifically for his most unpredictable pupil. He pinched the bridge of his nose, his mind already racing through the potential interdimensional incidents a hungry battle-energized Goku could inadvertently cause. The concept of a simple thank you was apparently foreign for Goku. Gratitude was expressed in meat and the thrill of the hunt, a language he understood far better than mystical cautions or cosmic warnings. Obviously. The grand door of the sanctum sanctorum clicked shut, and the ambient sounds of New York were immediately silenced. In the sudden quiet, Stephen Strange turned from the doorway, his gaze previously that of a weary host sharpened into that of a sorcerer supreme, assessing a threat. He walked toward the couch where Elektra was now sitting upright, her posture rigid with defiance despite her pallor. Strange stopped before her, his hands clasped behind his back. "I trust you heard my diagnosis, Miss Nakios," he began, his voice low and devoid of its earlier clinical detachment. "The hellfire that injured you does not burn randomly. It is a tool of divine judgment. Ghostrider is drawn to those steeped in sin, and he only really pursues the worst people of humanity." His appearance was not a coincidence. Elektra's eyes narrowed into slits of obsidian. "I did not ask for your analysis, wizard," she spat, the title dripping with contempt. "And I certainly do not need your permission, or the Ghostrider's, to walk my path." "Your path is your own to damnation," Strange replied, his tone chillingly calm. "I have no interest in being your moral compass, but that young man trusts you, and he possesses a raw, unprecedented potential. I have seen it. He is a prodigy, not just in combat, but in grasping the mystical forces that govern reality." He leaned forward slightly, the air around him crackling with subtle yellow energy. "My concern is not for you. It is that your influence, the legacy of the hand, and the assassin's trade will drag him into a darkness even his talents cannot escape. If he falls because he is tethered to you, it would be a catastrophic waste for the universe." Elektra rose to her feet, a single fluid motion, a predator uncoiling. The pain was gone and replaced by a cold, lethal fury. "You think you know him. You gave him a few tricks to play with, but I found him and honed him. I'm the one who showed him how to survive in the shadows of this world when he left the jungle. He is the body of the hand for a reason." "Precisely," Strange said, his voice dropping to a whisper that seemed to echo in the vast room. "And when the spirit of vengeance comes for you, and Goku isn't there to save you, who do you think will stand in its way? Will your training be enough when a fiery force comes for you again? Or what if something comes for him because of your influence? Think on that, woman." With a final piercing look, Strange turned his cloak, flaring as he ascended the staircase, leaving Elektra alone in the silent, foreboding hall. Goku stood in his thoughts, his stomach grumbling loudly enough to echo in the city. With a decisive nod, he knew only one thing would satisfy the post-battle hunger that was roaring within his Saiyan biology: a proper hunt. His mind, sharpened by Craven's lessons and now able to recall locations with the sorcerer's precision, cycled through the memories of his past. Hand assignments across the globe. He dismissed bustling cities and landscapes. This meal required wilderness challenge and a rich gamey meat. And because he did all those missions for the hand, he could remember a bunch of different locations he could teleport to. His destination crystallized, the vast untamed Canadian wilderness. He remembered a remote valley from a mission that was years prior, teeming with powerful life. With fluid motions born of intense training under Dr. Strange, he traced a sling ring portal into existence. The golden sparks swirled, opening not onto a street but onto a dense forest floor, the air thick with a scent of pine, damp earth, and a potential prey. He stepped through the portal, snapping shut behind him, leaving him in a profound silence. His Saiyan instincts, refined by Craven and tempered by T'Challa and Shang-Chi, immediately took over. His enhanced senses, noted as a key trait of skilled hunters, fanned an owl, and then the heavy, deliberate crunch of a hoof on the undergrowth through the snow. His tail, a sensitive and powerful limb, twitched once, pinpointing the direction. He moved without sound, his red robes a quick blur in the woods. There, in a clearing, stood a bull moose, a titan of muscle and antler. A worthy challenge. Craven's voice echoed in his mind. "A true hunter respects his prey, Dimitri, and a quick kill is the ultimate respect." Goku didn't bother with weapons. As the moose tensed, sensing danger, Goku prepared to strike, until he was interrupted by the appearance of a squirrel. Goku's muscles tensed, coiled to a spring. His focus was absolute. The world narrowed to the bull moose, a mountain of prime meat and a worthy challenge. Craven's lessons echoed in his mind. Patience and then decisive force from a strike. His fingers itched for the killing strike. He no longer had need for knives. A sudden weight landed on his head. A flurry of fur and a twitching tail brushed against his brow. The moose, startled by the movement, snorted and crashed away into the undergrowth. Goku's triumphant grin vanished. "Hey!" he hissed, his irritation flaring. He reached up and plucked the creature from his scalp, a common red squirrel now chittering angrily in his grasp. He brought it to eye level, its beady eyes glaring. "You are not on the menu tonight, rodent," he grumbled, his stomach protesting the lost feast. The squirrel squirmed, its tiny claws battling the air. Goku's expression darkened, a predatory glint returning to his eyes. "Then again, perhaps I can make an exception for an appetizer." But as he spoke, the squirrel stopped struggling. Instead of trying to escape, it reached a tiny paw toward him, not an attack but in a desperate plucking motion, tugging insistently at the fabric of his robe. It then stretched out, pointing emphatically in a specific direction deeper within the woods, chittering with a new urgent frequency. Goku's killing intent faded, replaced by a genuine bewilderment. This was no random animal panic. This was a purposeful encounter. A hunter knew the behaviors of prey, and this was something else entirely. His saiyan curiosity for adventure, a trait that defined him across any universe he would be born in, overpowered his hunger. "All right, furball," he muttered, loosening his grip and letting the squirrel perch on his outstretched wrist. "You've got my attention. Show me what's so important." The squirrel, chittering with renewed urgency, became a red streak darting through the undergrowth. Goku followed, his hunter instincts fully engaged. The promised moose feast forgotten. A new scent now dominated the air, the sharp metallic tang of human blood, cutting clearly through the forest musk. He moved with a silence honed in the savage lands and perfected by the hand, his steps making no sound on the damp earth. Pushing aside a low-hanging branch, he found the source. Slumped against the broad base of a pine tree was a young woman, her face pale and beaded with cold sweat. Her hands were pressing tightly against her abdomen, where a deep, ugly gash stained her clothes a dark crimson. The squirrel scurried on her side, nuzzling her arm with clear affection and concern. What truly made Goku's eyes widen, however, was the sight of a second, much larger squirrel tail. Fluffy and distinctly out of place, it was not a trophy. Its position suggested that it was part of her, just like his was part of him. The woman's eyes fluttered open, gazed with pain. Her gaze locked onto Goku, taking in his wild black hair, his powerful frame, and the flicking tail of his own. A spark of desperate recognition lit in her eyes. Her voice was a ragged whisper, barely audible. You have to run." The chittering squirrel, Tippy Toe, scurried back to Doreen Green's side, nuzzling her arm anxiously. Doreen, despite the searing pain in her abdomen, managed to lift a trembling hand to scold her friend. Her voice was weak but firm, each word an effort. "Tippy, I sent you to lead people away," she winced, a fresh wave of pain silencing her for a moment. "This area is a death trap. Not to bring a mystery man right to it." Goku had been listening with a tilted head, felt the corners of his mouth curl upwards. The woman's selflessness, even while critically wounded, was something he recognized from his time with the people of Kunlun. But it was her warning of danger that truly ignited a spark within him. His signature feral grin spread across his face, a clear and unmistakable sign of his excitement. He closed the distance between them in 2 easy strides, his shadow falling over the pair, crouching down to their level. His dark eyes, usually alight with simple joy for battle, now held a more focused, intrigued glint. His own tail gave an involuntary, eager twitch behind him. "You're hurt pretty bad, you know," Goku stated, his tone shifting from playful to practical. The scent of her blood was strong, a stark contrast to the forest air. But you're more worried about some threat to others than yourself. That must mean that whatever did this to you is really strong, right?" He leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial eager whisper. "So come on, explain. What's out here that could do this to you?" And that's where we're going to end it at, man. So the next episode, we're going to find out what did this to her. Let me know in the comments what you think did this to her, and I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. All right, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.